Good afternoon, good evening, good morning to you wherever you are in the world. I am Tigress Osborne. I'm the chair of the board of the National Association to Advance Fat Acceptance, also known as NAAFA. Today you are here for a special episode of our Ahead of the Curve series, which is put together by our Director of Fashion Industry Relations, Marcy Cruz. I'm going to introduce you to Marcy in just a minute and turn it over to her for her to introduce you to our special guest, Chenese Lewis. But before we do that, just a couple of NAAFA notes. First of all, we want to thank our friends from Pro Bono ASL who join us for our webinars to interpret into American Sign Language. Today's interpreters are Dee and Rory, and you can find more out about Pro Bono ASL by following them on your favorite social media or visiting their website, probonoasl.com. Is it .com or .org? I think it's .com. Sorry about that, Pro Bono team. We'll make sure that that's correct in the notes. It is .com. I had it right. Thanks, y'all. We were just talking before the start of the episode about not letting perfectionism get us in the way of getting somewhere, but I do want y'all to be able to find this website. It is probonoasl.com. Please support them and their and all of their efforts to make a more accessible world for everyone. I also want to wish you all a happy Black History Month. If you've been following NAAFA at NAAFA Official on your favorite social media sites, you will note that we are spotlighting Black creators and influencers and activists this month. So please take a look at that, follow those folks and support their work with your follows, your likes, your comments, and your money. You can also support NAAFA in doing the important work we do by giving to us. We are able to offer programs like today's episode of Ahead of the Curve and like our webinar series free of charge to the community because of the generous support of folks like you. If that is something you would like to do, please visit our website at NAAFA.org. And you can also see on our website our Community Voices blog and numerous other pieces of information and programming that we've got available to you, including our monthly anti-racism resources feature, which is put together by our administrative director, Darlene Howell, to help us all learn about combating racism and other forms of oppression so that we can really be intersectional in our activist work. So thank you for indulging me in telling you a little bit more about what we do. At this time, I'd like to introduce you to Marcy. Marcy Cruz is the NAAFA Director of Fashion Industry Relations. And outside of her work with NAAFA, Marcy is also an inspiration in fashion, in lifestyle, and more through her very popular blog, Fearlessly Just Me. She is also the first agency-signed size 26 plus fit model in the United States. She is known for showcasing underrepresented bodies with the Lookbook Project to doing body positivity campaigns such as Glamour Magazine's size 0 to 30 fashion series, Shape Magazine's Love My Shape feature, and Big Fig mattress ads. Marcy continues her mission to show that beauty comes in all sizes, and one of the ways she fulfills that mission with us at NAAFA is through the production of this series, Ahead of the Curve. It is my pleasure to turn things over to Marcy Cruz. Marcy, take it away.
Thanks, Tigress. Happy Black History Month. Even though it's a short month, it's a meaningful month. And I would be remiss if I didn't use my platform to celebrate one of the most amazing Black women that I know from the plus size industry, Miss Chenese Lewis. And Chenese is someone that she's a trailblazer. She has 20 years experience in this industry. She has accomplished many firsts in her career. She's behind the successful podcast, The Chenese Lewis Show, which was the first podcast for the plus size community, and it launched in 2008. I can't even tell you how much Chenese has done for this community in this industry. And it's all because her platform is based on body positivity. She was working with brands back in the day when they were using size 10 and 12 models. She was a size 22. She worked with Torrid. She worked with Ashley Stewart. She was crowned the first Miss Plus America in 2003. I mean, I could go on. She worked with the National Organization for Women Hollywood chapter. She did their fashion shows. I mean, she was involved in their Love Your Body event. There's just so much I can't even go into because I just don't have enough time. But if you're not following Chenese and or listening to her podcast, you're definitely missing out. And Chenese also has a background with NAAFA, and I wanted her to kind of tell us a little bit about that, how she has supported the organization.
Well, thank you for having me and that beautiful intro. So yes, I do have a history with NAAFA in the early 2000s. I don't know the exact year, but I was the host of the NAAFA fashion show in Los Angeles. It was during the convention. It was at a hotel, maybe like a Marriott or a Hilton, and we were in Los Angeles. And I have a funny story to tell. So this is the time I was wearing blonde hair. So I had a blonde wig on. And at the time, Wendy Williams was doing a preview of her new talk show. And it was previewing in Los Angeles. You know how they do select markets before they roll out the show nationwide. And somebody at NAAFA thought I was Wendy Williams. And I was like, no, I'm not Wendy Williams. Actually, it was like, oh, we heard you had a new talk show coming out. I was like, no, that's not me. So yeah, that's my funny story.
Well, you are a celebrity. You know, to me, you are. Like, I was very excited when you agreed to come on the show as my guest because you are, to me, and I mean, in general, so many people have said that you are a pioneer in the plus size industry. And, you know, you continue to stay relevant and, you know, your platform, you continue to push for like inclusivity, body acceptance, equality for all. And, you know, as a size 22, 24, you understand what's going on, and especially as a Black woman, you know. And so this is my way of giving you your flowers now.
Thank you.
And this is also my way of letting the world know about you and just for us to chat about, you know, topics, you know, about what your platform is about. So with that said, I also want to do like a land acknowledgement. I live in Queens, New York, and I currently live on Lenape tribe land. And then Chenese, where do you reside, Chenese?
I'm in Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Okay. And you live on, you said you know how to pronounce it. I don't want to butcher their name.
Choctaw.
Yes, tribal land. And then a visual description. I am a light-skinned Latina, and I wear glasses, and I have red lipstick on. I have funky colors in my hair. I have short hair. I'm wearing a pink jacket, black top. Chenese is a Black woman with black hair. Is it black hair or is it dark brown?
Yes, dark brown.
Just never know at this time, right? You're wearing a turquoise top, beautiful smile. You have a gold necklace on. And I think we have that covered. Okay, so anyway. So let's jump into the questions. So we know that you started in the pageant world. You know, you were Miss Plus America, correct?
Yes.
And so what led you to pivot from the pageantry world to the plus size fashion industry? And how did it feel to be a size 22 model, as I had said before, during a time when brands, they were using models that were size 10 and 12. They were padding them or they were pinning the clothes. People just don't understand what was going on behind the scenes. And it was a lot of white models too. Let's keep it real. You know,
Yeah.
So how did it feel being a Black woman, size 22, working for major brands? And what led you to pivot to that moment?
Well, the reason that I entered a pageant in the first place is because I wanted to model and be in the industry, but I lived in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So at the time, I was in a place where there are no opportunities. It wasn't really a community here with things going on, no events or anything. And so I searched and I found like the message boards for the plus community. That's how long ago this was, message boards. And I found this pageant. And so really, I had never participated in pageantry before. What I was trying to do is gain exposure for myself, because I wanted to do, things in entertainment. And so after I won the national title in 2003, the next year I moved to Los Angeles in 2004, because I was like, if this is something I want to pursue full time, I need to be where the action is. I'm limited in Baton Rouge. So I went there and I had the odds against me, like you said. My size was against me. Even at the time, I guess I was fresh from the country. Some people act like they couldn't understand what I was saying. And, Black, and I just had all these odds against me. But I was able to promote myself. And with the title, I was able to make myself stand out from the other girls that was auditioning. And so a funny story with Torrid, they weren't looking for models my size. I was too big, but I was like, I'm gonna submit myself anyway. What you gonna lose? And
That's
so
right.
when I got there, they had a size 20 jeans, and I tried to squeeze into it, but it didn't fit. And I knew it wasn't going to fit. And they were like, oh, well, you must be a 22. Let's get her a 22. And I'm just happy they didn't kick me out the door. And, they just rebooked me, and I kept shooting with them. However, this was pre-social media, so I didn't get a big buzz like some people have now, since they have social media and lots of followers and PRs, backing them to get major press. So it was a big deal, but I didn't get the big push behind me, because it's so, when you're a trailblazer, sometimes your good work goes unrecognized.
Yes. Well, it may feel unrecognized, but I think later on it became recognized because it was part of your journey.
Right.
And no one could ever take that away from you as well. So, yeah. So speaking of on that topic, you had once told me when I did that PMM article about you, you had said, this was your quote of the plus size industry and community. You said, it's so important for us as a community to publicly celebrate and support brands and individuals that do groundbreaking things so that they can continue to thrive. So can you speak more to that and why it's so important?
Yeah, I think there's a quote like, support what you love. Oftentimes, especially in the plus industry and size acceptance, is a lot of negativity. And it's nothing wrong with giving feedback when people need to do better and people need to improve. But sometimes people do use larger models. People do great campaigns. And it's like crickets. Like when people do something great and do something that we should be celebrating, it gets no likes, no comments, no nothing. So positive feedback is just as important as negative feedback.
Yes, I agree. And it's true. When you see a larger model being used, no one says anything. No one shares it. Very rarely it goes viral.
Right.
But when it's negative, oh, you're not using larger models.
Right.
But when we give them what they want, then where's the support? No, totally.
Right.
Totally.
And so they're not going to continue to do it because they're not getting any positive feedback.
Exactly.
Like, I think it's a misconception, like in the plus industry, that people are doing things to instill confidence in women, but it's a business. So if it's not making money and it's not giving them a return on investment, they're not going to keep using people just for fun. You have to really be like, I'm writing an article about these people because they use a bigger model. I'm going to put them on my podcast. I'm going to share them on my page. Like, you have to take action when somebody does something good.
Yes. Agreed. So Forbes called you one of the original plus size influencers. And the basis of your platform has always been body positivity. So in your opinion, who are the other Black women who are a part of that history, which I feel is the backbone of fat liberation? So let's celebrate some more Black women.
Now, my answer to that might not be what you expect, because since I was deep in the South in Baton Rouge, I wasn't connected to a plus size community. So my first images and first things that inspired me was mainstream media, like the majority of people. So the first people that encouraged me and inspired me was like Queen Latifah and Monique, because they were larger women doing things that I wanted to do and I inspired to be. Later, I found the plus community, but everybody is not online and everybody is not, on social media. The people who have the most visibility usually reaches the most people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and for me, it was Kim Coles.
Oh yeah, I forgot
I would watch Living
Kim.
Single, and I would say, "Wow, she is gorgeous." And to see a plus size woman on TV alongside Queen Latifah.
Yeah.
And then later on, I got to meet her
at
Fashion Week, and she was the nicest person and so accessible. And and even though, it wasn't the answer I expected, I admit it. But I can understand, because Monique and Queen Latifah, even though like to some they're not considered like visibly plus, especially like Queen Latifah. However, they to me made history because you didn't really see larger bodies.
Right. I remember Monique had the pageant. Somebody just posted Monique.
Yes. And Monique was visibly plus size, right?
Monique had the movie Fat Girls.
Yes.
Monique was, big and proud at the time. So she was, I would say like Lizzo is the new Monique.
Exactly. You know what? I agree. Yeah, that's a great point. So now let's talk about your podcast, which I've been a guest on, I think twice actually.
Yeah.
Which I feel honored. You keep asking me to be on. I love it. So your podcast, The Chenese Lewis Show, has been around since 2008, which has been 14 years. Wow.
Yes.
And it was the first podcast for the plus size community. So what inspired you to start a podcast, and how has it helped your mission for body positivity, acceptance, and diversity?
So when I relocated to Los Angeles, I initially moved there just to pursue being an actress and a plus size model. But as I, lived there and networked, I was exposed to more things to expand my brand. So hosting was one of the things I got exposed to. And somebody was like, you will be great with this. You should, add this to your brand. And so I went to hosting school and took hosting classes because I wanted to do red carpet interviews like at the Oscars or the Grammys. And so I went to school and was learning how to read the teleprompter and things like that. And so one of my teachers was Idalis, and you might remember her as an MTV VJ from the 90s, Latina. Mm-hmm. And so she was the one that told me I should start a podcast to practice my interview skills, because she was one of my teachers. And so at the time, 2008, I was like, what's a podcast? I didn't even know what it was. And so she was like, one of my other students is doing this. You should do this too. So I started the podcast, and I made it about a plus size fashion because it was an industry I was already active in. I already had a following in. And I'm like, don't break don't make things difficult. If I already had a following in that, that's what the podcast is going to be. So it was successful day one. And I've just continued to do it ever since. And I mean, she was right. Practice makes perfect, because I think I got some pretty good interview skills now, 14 years later.
Yeah, I love that you seized the moment and you just said, you know what, I'm going to do it. I'm going to try it. That's one of the things that I've always loved about you, and it's so inspiring. It inspires me actually to keep going, because you put yourself out there and you say, well, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out, but I'm going to try it.
Well, and I was in Los Angeles. I was in Los Angeles hustling. I knew my time there probably was limited. It was expensive to live there, and I was just trying to pursue my dream. So I was trying to do everything I could in that 10 years I was there.
Right. And you didn't let your size or your skin color stop you.
Not at all. I just kept building.
And this is what I love about you, is that you didn't let the obstacles that came into your life, because you've had other obstacles.
Right.
If you want to talk about it a little bit.
I can talk about it.
Yeah, let's talk about it because I want people to know, like, no one's life is perfect. People like social media now, they see pictures, they think, oh, everything is so perfect. But you've been through some, ooh, yeah, just go ahead and talk about it because I like.
So, like I said, I moved to Los Angeles in 2004 to pursue my career. And I lived there for 10 years and was thriving, on my way up. I got to be on television shows, movies, music videos. I was slowly building. But all that came to a halt in 2014 when my dad got sick. And so I'm an only child. And my mom was like, you need to come back home because I need help taking care of him. Because at that point, I think he had been in the hospital for 2 months and we really didn't know, what was going to happen to him. And when he got released from the hospital, we just thought he was going to be bedridden. And so my mom was like, I can't take care of him by myself. That's going to wear me out. Come home. So I had to stop my career abruptly, move back home to Baton Rouge. And I just thought that was the end. I mean, I thought that was the end for me, doing anything in the plus industry. I thought that was the end for me hosting. But I was like, you have to do what you have to do because of family. And I was the only child. So I really didn't have, I guess I had a choice to ignore and, ignore my daddy, but I wouldn't do that.
Right.
So, I moved back to Baton Rouge in 2014. And to my surprise, people were still interested in booking me. People were still interested, and maybe to other people that wouldn't be a surprise, but to me it was a surprise because I was like, I'm down in Louisiana, but people are like, we'll fly you out. We still want to do things with you. And I was like, oh my God, wow. So sometimes when you think it's the end, God always has other plans. So, I'm not like on television right now where I would like to be, but who knows what the future holds. I was, what's the quote? Like I was deferred, but not denied or something like that. So who knows what's coming.
That's right. And even though that's off topic from what we're talking about, I had to bring that up because I feel like, especially now with the pandemic, people are struggling. And I just think that was a message that everyone needs to hear, not to give up, to push through. And especially as marginalized folks, it's like we not only have to worry about the pandemic and regular stuff that regular folks, but like we have to worry about, racism. We have to worry about being, going through fat phobia and fat bias and just all the stuff that's going on, just because we reside in a larger body.
Right.
And society is telling us that it's wrong for us to live in this body. So I just wanted to get that message out because, it's like you said, even though you thought your career was over, it wasn't. So we can't give up. We have to keep pushing forward, whatever our journey is, whatever our mission is. If we really believe in it and we're passionate about it, we can't stop. We can't. And you do it for the community. And for me, like when I speak about extended sizes and giving access to all for clothing, like I really believe that as a community, we can achieve that goal. Absolutely. Just like fat liberation as a community, we don't need to rely on the businesses. While it's great, yeah, they do supply us with clothes from a fashion perspective, but as a community, if we banded together, we can accomplish anything. That's just my belief. Maybe I could be talking in a fairy tale.
That's true.
Way, but
the problem is banding together. That's where.
Right. Exactly. Because I really believe in community.
Right.
So, but okay, onward and forward. I'm going off on a tangent and I'm so sorry. So you have definitely made major moves, in your career. Like, oh my gosh. And I totally lost my train of thought. Excuse me. My screen kind of like, I don't know. And I meant to mention, we're getting hit with a snowstorm tonight to everyone watching. So the screen just kind of went like that and it kind of scared me. But anyway, but I'm still on.
Yeah, you okay.
You definitely, I got a little nervous there when it like, like, whoa.
Usually I'm the one with the bad weather with the hurricanes down here.
We've gotten so much snow in New York this winter, but that's climate change. That's a whole other. Yesterday
Right.
it was 60 degrees. Today it's like 18 with snow. I don't get it. So you have definitely made major moves within the plus size industry by creating and producing events for the community, using the media and marketing campaigns as a way to amplify your voice. You're always championing for more body acceptance and diversity. So I would love to know what's the next the next 20 years for Chenese Lewis. Well, you've already
Well,
done 20 years. I think you're going to be another 20 years. God
yes,
willing,
yes. So the next 20 years, nobody's asked me that far in advance. I don't know.
Well, let's say next 5 years. I just said 20
Look,
because you've already done 20.
with all that's going on in the world, I just hope I'm alive and in good health, child.
Yes.
I'm sure I'll continue to do promoting positive body image. What is called, positive. I mean, body positivity now.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's something that's just ingrained in me. So, like, I support that and promote it, but it's not even conscious at this point. It's just that, things that I'm asked to do or things I know, it just all flows together. Hopefully I'll still be podcasting. And I have like some opportunities on the table that maybe I'll be a host for some corporate podcasts. We'll see. Keep your fingers crossed. And hosting a big event in Louisiana is Essence Music Festival. It's like the biggest Black event in America. And so, I do things down there during that event sometimes. So I kind of dabble in plus size stuff, but mainstream stuff too. Because I like to be in mainstream things so I could be visible, like hopefully one day like a Queen Latifah or Monique. That would, who knows?
Yes. And I always wanted to go to the Essence Music Festival.
Oh, you got to come down.
Yeah, maybe I should. It's a really hard event to get into, from what I understand. But you know what? I'm gonna take a page from your book, and I'm gonna try because I think I always heard it was a great event. So and there is a plus size presence there, so I think it would be great to go. But that's great news. And you said TV. What would you like to do on TV?
Well, of course, what I was training to do when I was in Los Angeles was television host. And actually, my podcast is audio only. I don't really do video, so I probably should, but it's a lot to be putting his makeup on and, combing his hair, girl. So I like to do audio, and I could be looking any kind of way.
Yes. I have a funny story to share really quick. I recently did an interview, and the person called it a podcast, right? But we met on Zoom. So I thought, okay, they're going to see me. I put on a full face of makeup. I had the most fabulous dress on. I was looking so good, right? Get on, I see the other people on there looking like they wearing pajamas. And I'm like so confused. Later, I found out that they used the Zoom video. They turned it into an audio.
Right. Just extract the
I didn't know. So I thought, wow, what a waste of an outfit. I should have took pictures in it. But podcasts now, do you feel like people with the way like the world is now, with people on social media and they're so visual, do you still think that there is space for podcasts?
I do, but I think they're calling the video ones podcast now. So podcast, is audio and video now. But I do think video gets a lot of engagement, especially on social media and TikTok. So definitely video, podcasts are popular, but I think audio is popular too, because people listen to it, you're laying in bed or on the subway, you might want to have your eyes around your surrounding, and then you can listen to it. So,
Yes.
And I want to say my podcast is always looking for guests. So you can go to the podcast website and submit your information. Because sometimes, my podcast is for the plus community. And so one of the requirements I have for guests is to send me a professional picture and a bio. And sometimes when I ask that, everything goes downhill. So people need to get a bio and a professional picture if they're trying to promote what they're doing. Let's have basic marketing skills, people.
Yes, definitely. And we'll make sure to include in the chat the link to your website. That's where they can go and get the information and apply to be a guest.
Yes, on the podcast website. I'll give you the link.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. So that's all the questions that I have. So we want to throw it to the folks in the chat to see, if anyone has any questions. And I'm going to check now. Let's see. Okay. Does anyone have any questions? I don't see any questions. So is there anything else you'd want to add, Chenese?
Yeah, let's see. I just want to say I'm proud of you and what you're doing with this show. I think it's important to, support people in the fashion industry that are promoting positivity, size acceptance. A lot of people that are doing things in the plus industry usually don't get a lot of press and don't get a lot of attention. That's why my podcast was so successful, because for some people doing great things with plus size women, that was like some of the only press that they got. Usually people that are in mainstream that gets, have all the followers and all the press, sometimes doesn't represent us in the plus community. They're just the ones that's, getting all the attention for whatever reason. Sometimes it's not positive. But
right.
We need platforms like this to promote people who are trying. Because when you want to do things with larger models, you want to do things to represent larger people, you definitely have to have support. And that's what a lot of people don't have, is support. And that's why they can't continue to do what they do and thrive. They need exposure. They need followers on social media now. And so it's just hard it's easy to get on social media and promote for free, but it's hard to get that following and brand where you're at the top of the chain. So definitely, keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It's not easy work, but it's worth it. And I know Tigress mentioned like my lookbook project that I did about 2 years ago, where I was doing lookbooks with about 10 women who were all above a size 24. And I would find a brand to sponsor us clothing, and each of the women would provide imagery, and they would put like little quotes and stuff of, what fashion meant to them, because I wanted to show those bodies, because those bodies are not seen, regularly, and I wanted to show that we can be fashionable too. And so it's things like that, I try to do. You never want to set out and think, oh, I'm going to go viral,
Right.
But you hope for it, And so, but I keep going on, because like we're serving the community. That is our calling. And, I think we have a question, but let me continue my thought. So with the lookbooks, and also to just kind of explain for people who don't know what a lookbook is, it's almost like a catalog in a sense. When you look at, lookbook, you're looking at a book, but it's more like it's a small kind of publication. I've done them online. I haven't done them in print. I wish I would have. And usually I think mine was about, I want to say like 25 pages. And it's basically just like a catalog, except you're not selling. You're just, it's like a mini magazine kind of thing, but it's fashion related. So definitely, maybe I could share the link. I don't have it on me like right now to share it, but when we post this video up, because this video will go up later on our YouTube channel, I will include some of my links to my lookbooks, and I'll definitely share with you too, Chenese, if you would like to see them.
Yeah.
And so I've been thinking about doing one again, actually, because they were fun, and it's nice to inspire other women. Like the comments that I got, and I know you get these comments as well in your work. Women saying, "Wow, I see someone that looks like me. Oh wow, where did you get that dress? Oh my gosh, you look so beautiful." And it's like, wow, like they're out there. So, and they're our reflection. So that's, I think, what keeps me going. But anyway, let's see. There's a question that says, has Chenese done much work in working with brands for extended sizes / size inclusivity?
I don't think that's necessarily where I would fall in the industry, because I'm more of a personality influencer type. So like if you go to my social media, I don't really post a lot of outfits and clothes for brands. I'm more about promoting the Chenese Lewis brand than I am promoting other people. But I have
to inspire.
Yeah, but I have modeled for like one of the first companies I modeled for when I was in Los Angeles was big on petite. And rest in peace, Kathy Miller. She was the one that had the Love Your Body wristbands that actually a portion of the proceeds went to NAAFA when I was doing that project back in the day. But, you know, I have worked with, you know, all type of brands that are inclusive. And, you know, some of this made in China clothes, I can't even fit in. So like I said, I promote people who I love. Like these other made in China Instagram stuff, I can't fit in it. So I don't even, I know I don't work with them to do anything. I just don't give them my money and I just don't promote them.
And that's how it should be. You know, that's like the Sheins of the world.
Yeah, I don't even buy
size
anything.
20.
I've never bought anything from Shein, Fashion Nova, or all these made in China stuff. This 3X is 2 sizes too small. You know, I just don't show my support. But I know there are people that are actively, you know, trying to communicate with them and say, you need to do that. But that wouldn't be my department. I'm more on the side of promoting people on my podcast who do go up with bigger sizes and trying to get them, you know, exposure.
Yes. And you know what? And it's true. You know, you're staying in your lane.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a conversation about that today. You know, sometimes there's some people that want to do everything. And I could be one of those people too. There's so many things I want to do, but I've learned that you have to hone what you do best and stay in your lane. And, you know, and there's other people out there that will do the work that's not meant for you. But that's why I say community is so important for us to band together. And I hope one day that'll happen. So, but any last words, Miss Lewis?
Just keep in touch with me. You can follow me on my social media pages at Chenese Lewis. My Instagram is acting kind of weird today, so I don't know if I'm about to get hacked or something. I hope not. But I'm Chenese Lewis everywhere, and I love to connect with you. And I love to, you know, support projects through my podcast. You know, just let me know what you got going on.
All right. Thank you so much. And everyone can follow me at Fearlessly Just Me. And my blog is fearlesslyjustme.net. And I'm just so happy, Chenese, that you joined us. And I want to say thank you. And if we could support you in any way we can, we appreciate you. And I want to thank the folks at Pro Bono ASL. And if you want to find out more information about NAAFA, you can visit naafa.org. And I just want to say thank you to all who attended. And again, have a good night and happy Black History Month.
Yay. Thank you for having me.